Audio on demand from Vision Christian Media. Audio on demand from Vision Christian Media.
History Makers with Matt Prater.
Coming off of drugs, you're going to have emotional problems, but I kept chasing after God.
And he's using this vehicle to bring people out of that dark into the light.
And I went forward and I knelt at the front, and it was a radical conversion experience.
And that's where the big change happened, and that's where we decided we're going to use our music for God, we're going to change our songs.
When I was about 25-year-old, I was busted and into jail, and it was there that I came to the Lord.
History Makers with Matt Prater.
Hi and welcome to History Makers. I'm Matt Prater, and we're so blessed to catch up with a legend in the Christian music scene, Josiah Queen from the USA. How are you, my friend?
Man, I'm doing good. I appreciate that, dude. I'm just glad to be here. My first radio interview in Australia.
Ah, awesome.
Oh, we didn't realise that. That's very exciting. We feel very privileged. But we've been following your journey, Josiah, and I am just so thrilled to be able to be the first in Australia then to hear the background story to Josiah. Tell us a little bit about where you come from, how you got saved. I believe you grew up in church.
Yeah, so I grew up in Florida and I was born and raised. And yeah, I grew up in church. My parents are, my mom was our kids' church pastor, and my dad was our middle school, high school youth pastor. And so I grew up having amazing parents and going to church every Sunday. And that's where I was raised with amazing parents. And honestly, I credit a lot to where I'm at now. And my life is in loving the church so much and loving Jesus so much, because I would see them go and care for so much people at church and then come home and, they're the same people and they are the same people to me and my siblings. And so that's how I was raised. And when I was around 10 or 11 years old, though, I think I met Jesus for myself, and that day I did. I remember I was at a young adults conference with my parents, and when I, met Jesus for the first time, I really understood what it meant when people said, Jesus is your friend, and that, having a relationship with Jesus. And so ever since then, I've just been following him. You know what I mean?
So good, mate. Well, it's so good to catch up with you. And, I heard your song, The Prodigal, on 20 The Countdown magazine, which is a program that we play here. And I remember thinking, I recognise that song, and I'm pretty sure I'd heard it on TikTok somewhere, because it's gone viral, that song. Mm-hmm. That really changed things for you when that song went massive. Tell us about the heart behind that song, The Prodigal.
Yeah, honestly, it was a big old, accident in some ways. I have a producer in Nashville. I met him. He met me. We met during the summer, during COVID, the summer of COVID, and we just were writing music. And I remember I got an electric guitar for Christmas, and / me graduating from high school. And so I was just like, man, in my birthday, it's only a 3-month span. And so I just went I don't want to lose my soul. I just I don't know, trying to be a rock star. And so then I went and I worked on that song for months and months. I started that Christmas Day and went and recorded it. And I was really stuck on the title. I was like, is it The Prodigal? Or I was about to change it to Coming Home. Because my mom was like, man, Josiah, you never were a prodigal. You always say it, which is true. Always say it. And really feel ever since I met Jesus, but really the heart of the song came from me, this idea chasing fame, which is so popular on social media, and chasing money and those things that just it doesn't make you feel full and doesn't fill the desires in your heart. And kind of that's what the prodigal son happened to him, and in some way everybody can relate to the fact that we've all tried things in this world to try to satisfy our hearts and it just didn't. It caused me to want to make a song about really running home to Jesus. And really, I found most of my music is really just about that, just running away from the things of the world, running from that and running to Jesus. And so, I think The Prodigal really embodied that kind of heart behind my music.
I love that. I'm looking at the album cover and you're in the middle of a street, and you seem to have a thing with streets because your newly dropped piece also about the two wooden beams. You're in a street again. This time you're sitting down, and I'm seeing Torrin Wells, who we also love. And he's like, please be careful on the street. And I'm looking at you lying down on the next one. This street must be special.
Come on. You gotta push the limits every time.
As a mum, I'm like, please, Josiah, get off the road.
Yeah. That's funny. Yeah, the album art for that, The Prodigal, was literally, we were on tour, and my managers, they were like, we need a photo for the album, today. And I was like, oh shoot, my grandpa was driving our tour van. He parked the tour van in Kentucky, and I ran down the street, and that's where we took it. So yeah, I guess I do have something with roads. I don't know.
Yeah, well, you know,
Lucky they're quiet roads.
You can talk about, you know, narrow is the road that leads to, wide is the road that leads to destruction. You know, there's a Bible verse there, bro. There you go. Yeah. Now, mate, I've got to tell you, I've been personally inspired by another song of yours called Altars Over Stages. I just loved it. You know, I think it's a bit about John the Baptist saying, you know, I must decrease, he must increase. You know, I choose altars over stages because heaven is my wages. That line struck me, and I'm a pastor, and I preached a 5-week series on why we do church called Altars Over Stages because of that song. So thank you, mate. Tell us about that song.
Man, actually, it's funny. I don't know if I've ever said this but my uncle, when me and Trinity, when we got married and she moved to Florida, it was Trinity's uncle. He made me a note. I actually cracked this frame. But on it, it says altars over stages, shadows over spotlights.
Oh. Wow.
He said he had it on his fridge, and he gave it to me. And then he was like, you know, just always like kind of as like a reminder. And I had that on our fridge for so long. And then I just had and I really wrote that song. I was driving to Nashville to record my music, and I remember that note, and I just started saying that chorus, altars over stages, and I wrote it just driving down the highway. So yeah, that's how that song was written. And really, I think reading that story about John, that's when I wrote the verses, because it was like, man, you know, John was just, for me, he's probably one of my favorite people in the Bible besides Jesus, because I mean, he literally like did not care at all about anything, like how he dressed, what he ate, what he looked like. I mean, all he cared about was preparing the way for Jesus. And I was like, man, it's so inspirational. And so, yeah, that's how that one was written. It's from that note. And so that's actually where I got the cover art for the first, when I released the song. I just took a picture of it. My brother, who knows Photoshop, actually, he spelled altars wrong. It's ALTARS, and he spelled the ALTERS. So we had to fix it to the A. But yeah, that's where that song started, from that note. So
very cool.
I love, though, the heart behind that, Josiah, because you think you're in the age, that era of your life, where it can be really easy to be distracted by other things and praise of people. And I love that what I see, and even as we're talking right now, is that heart for God. What is it that you're doing to make sure you keep your eyes fixed on the prize, on Jesus, during this time where you could be tempted to move your eyes other places?
I mean, that's definitely a true statement. And I think that I would be lying if I was like perfect at it. I think that I find that in life when I get the most stressed or the most anxious, it's probably because I have my eyes on the wrong thing. And so it's kind of like that story of Peter on the water. He starts falling when it says he has his eyes on everything else but Jesus. And so I think for me, I find that the only way, literally the only way, is to be putting my eyes on Jesus and reading my Bible and serving him, surrounding myself with, believers. And, I made an effort when starting my music, and I got wise counsel from a lot of people to, stay where I was from. And I have a really good church community. I have a really good friends. We have men's Bible studies through the week, and I have a really good support. So one thing for me is I really just made it intentional to stay here and a place where people keep me grounded and rooted in, going after Jesus. And so, yeah, I would say just keeping my eyes on him. And I'm not perfect I'm a lot like Peter. I fall and slip into the water a lot, but, just keeping my eyes on Jesus is the only way. You know what I mean?
Good. Well, mate, a few of your songs that have really impacted me, I'll go through a couple. But firstly, I love the fact that you toured with Forrest Frank, who is now in the top 100 with one of his songs in the Billboard charts. So he's going massive. You've done a collab with Brandon Lake, who's also in the Billboard 100 right now. Yep. I think it's your turn next. You've got to go in the mainstream in the Billboard Hot 100. But you also did a collab with Toby Mac, the song Jesus Freak, which was, the biggest song in the world when I was a teenager. Yeah. Tell us what it was like and why you did that song Jesus Freak with Toby Mac.
Man, first of all, I grew up a pastor's kid, youth pastor. My dad obviously loved that song. He actually showed me that song, and so I was obsessed with it. I just had it on repeat, and I got asked by Apple Music to like do a cover song. Like, what song? They were giving me ideas, and I was like, man, I want to do Jesus Freak.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think it's ever been covered before. I was like, I don't see people posting on like Apple Music and stuff. At least from my research, and I was like, man, but like, I don't think I can do that unless Toby Mac would get on it. And obviously, I'm a huge Toby Mac fan growing up. Like that, I have memories of me and my dad going down the highway and listening to Toby Mac on full volume, like literally like knowing every word. And so I actually like didn't know him at the time, but some of my managers knew him, and so they asked if about getting on that song, and he like gave me the blessing to do it and do it kind of the way that I would, I guess, do it now with my type of music. And dude, it was like such a cool experience. Especially, I mean, I got some credit with my dad too, like just Toby Mac. So it was such a cool experience. And then it was really just meant for like Apple Music exclusive. And then people are posting videos of it on TikTok, and it was getting hundreds of thousands of views. I was like, all right, I guess I got to post it on Spotify too. So, and everywhere on YouTube and everything. And so, yeah, it was really cool being able, I've actually not met him yet in person, only FaceTime.
Oh, okay.
So I'm hoping to meet him here soon. But
now I love the fact that Toby Mac rapped in it, but do you know the rap in Jesus Freak?
Oh, absolutely. There was a man with a tat on his big fat belly. I know. Come on.
Marmalade jelly. Took me a while to catch what it said, because it had to match the rhythm of his belly with the head. Jesus saved, but it raves. Come on.
Yeah.
Good job,
on
mate.
a box in the middle of the city. Yeah. Come on, I know you. I got you.
That's good, man. That's
Gotcha.
good.
There you go, Matt. You're pretty cool.
We're collabing already. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. If you need someone else to work with, Matt's putting his hand up.
Yeah, I got you. If I need a rapper, a Christian rapper, I know who to talk to.
Okay.
Well, he can do one or two. He can do 1.5. You mentioned TikTok. And look, if anyone's listening, you're on TikTok. There's huge amounts on Insta. But TikTok, you've got this thing you've been doing. There's quite a few, I believe, but where you take you can pitch you a Bible story and you will create a song out of it, which I think...
Oh, shoot.
That's pretty clever. Have you got a favorite story?
Oh, man. I remember. Now you think I totally forgot about that. Yeah, I used to do that during COVID because I was like, I think my favorite Bible story, it's so hard because I like switched off a lot. I think that my favorite Bible story would be, I think it's the one of John the Baptist, but I already wrote a song about that. And so I would say like one story I want to write a song about, I guess I'll answer, is Daniel in the Lion's Den. I really want to figure out a way of doing that.
Good.
Like, so I'll figure it out. Maybe y'all will play it someday, but we'll see.
Well, when you do, call us back. A song that you have written is called My Promised Land. Mm-hmm. And we're just wondering if you could tell us the story behind that song.
Kind of honestly on topic of what a lot of we're talking about, my life changed pretty quickly. My job was, I worked at a car wash, and I was also a janitor at a church when I released The Prodigal, and that song kind of just like went crazy on social media and stuff, and all my dreams, were kind of like happening at what it felt like overnight, like I went. And now there's these record labels that are interested, and and I'm getting to tour and do shows, and people know my songs and all this stuff. It's all my dreams. But I read in the Bible about Moses and, him wandering in the desert for 40 years and seeing the promised land, like the place that God promised him. And, God was like, you can have all those things, all those blessings, but I just can't go with you. And I just remember, and then Moses was like, Lord, if you don't go with us, we won't leave from this place. And I just remember being like, man, like, God, I don't want to, like, these dreams are like amazing, but they can't ever love me as much as you can. And so I was just like, God, I don't want to do this music thing unless you're going out here and doing it with me. And so, I felt his blessing to do it, and that's where I wrote that song. So, yeah.
I love it, mate.
For me for that reason.
Just keep that good music coming, and make sure you come down under a tour in Australia one day. We'd love to have you down here. Now, mate, another thing is there's a lot of young people who are in your fan base who are battling anxiety, mental health struggles. Kids are, going through all sorts of issues worse than ever before. You've got a platform, you've got a voice. What do you say to young people that are struggling?
For me, from my experience, it's like, it's a really real thing, but it's really all that matters in life is what Jesus thinks about us. And if we spend our life, trying to please others and try to see how we can become more in the sights of others, we're going to spend our life feeling really empty because it's never going to be enough. And I would just say that the times in my life I feel the best is when I realize that all that matters, that I did everything unto God and I did it to Jesus and what he thinks about me. And so I guess it would just be back to what I said earlier. It's just getting your eyes on Jesus and getting your eyes off of literally everything else in life. life that doesn't matter, because it says in the Bible, seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added to you. So just seek first Jesus, and everything else kind of will fall into place. You know what I mean? So that's what I would say.
Amen.
You wrapped it up beautifully. Josiah, we are so stoked we got to spend some time with you. Thank you.
It's my pleasure. Thank you guys so much.
We hope you can come to Australia sometime soon.
Oh, absolutely. It's beautiful there, I heard. So I got to. There's big spiders, though. So
no, don't worry about the spiders.
You'll be
we'll
fine.
follow you around if we have to and kill them. We're fine.
Okay,
and if you tour and you need someone to rap with Jesus Freak, just look me up, bro.
I got you.
Gotcha, yeah. Cool.
I got you. All right, guys. Thank you so much. It was nice to meet y'all.
Bless you, mate.
Josiah.
Thank you.
If you'd like to hear this conversation again, listen online anytime at historymakersradio.com. There you'll also find links to all of our social media channels, and you can subscribe to our iTunes podcast. History Makers is a faith-based ministry, and we want to thank everyone for their generous support. If you've got a suggestion of anyone we should interview, send us an email, info@historymakersradio.com. God bless. I'm Matt Prater, and my challenge to you now is to go and make history.
Thanks for taking time to listen to this audio on demand from Vision Christian Media. To find out more about us, go to vision.org.au. Thanks for taking time to listen to this audio on demand from Vision Christian Media. To find out more about us, go to vision.org.au.